and welcome back to Beto Comma Podcast.
Mhm.
Today we will be doing our February wrap up.
Mhm.
So, guys, we're here on another fabulous Thursday,
Mhm.
and today we will be going over the books that we have read in February and maybe started and just haven't finished just yet.
Work.
So, please grab a blanket, a pillow, a comfy couch, recliner, chair, and join us. Colette,
Mhm.
how many books did you read this month? Yeah, that cook was
Oh
good.
my god. For the month of February, I read 5 books for a total amount of 2,100 pages. And it says my average time to finish was 3 days.
Was
My
that counting?
largest mood,
Was that counting blood deaths?
girl,
Did you put the dates in there accurately?
girl.
Cause
My well for blood debts. Remember, you could pause it. So
I did not pause it. Go ahead. I'll just keep it as it is so we could laugh a little.
So for my moods, my biggest for the month of February was adventurous, and my second biggest was dark. I'm turning into Elizabeth. um, they said all of my books are basically fast paced, and all I read were fiction. And my top books read for this month were fantasy. I had 20% audio, 40% digital, and 40% print. And my average rating was 3.94 stars.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's it.
Okay. So mine's not completely accurate because one of my books got marked as digital and it was physical, but that's the only thing that's messed up. Anyways, in the month of February,
Hmm.
I read 6 books totaling 2,180 pages.
Hmm.
When you said 2,100, I'm like, oh, we're so close. Um, being that I did not pause blood debts, my average time to finish was 3 months.
Elizabeth.
I need to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. Well,
Lord.
anyway, we know that it did not take me, whatever.
Yeah.
My biggest mood this month was emotional.
Mm.
20% fast paced, 80% medium, 17% 500 plus pages, 17% under 300, and 67% 300 to 499 pages.
Mm.
I had 17% nonfiction
Hmm.
and 83% fiction. My genres were tied at romance and fantasy. Um, I did have, where are my books? Up here, up here, up here, up here, up here, up here. I know I had, let me see, that's okay. So I had one physical book and
Okay.
then 3 audio and 2 digital.
That's
So,
cute.
yeah. And my average rating was 4.25.
That's good. That's a good rating. Okay. Going into our books, I have my book journal here.
Where's mine? I mean, I haven't really read.
So I just need a so last month I had said I read 7 books. I read 8. I ended up finishing a book like literally on the last day of January. So I'm just gonna quickly tell you about that. That was titled Fast by Millie Belizaire. Um, 420 pages. And when I say I ate that book up in a day, I mean I finished it in a day. I gave it 4.5 stars. Um, it's about what these people name is. I don't know. Anyways, they're in Orlando. Um, I feel like that's what made it so good for me, as well as the fact that they were in Orlando and I can identify the places they were talking about. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I know that area. It made me feel good, you know?
Yeah.
So it's about a girl. She had a traumatic
Super traumatic.
upbringing. She was raped at 8 years old by her uncle. The grandmother, because her mom had died, which is why she went to go live with her grandmother and her uncle in Orlando. The grandmother knew that her son was a little, but I don't know about y'all. And it's easy to say, oh my God, if you did this to a child, you need to be put in jail. A lot of people don't do it. They just don't. They're like, that's my child. I know what he did was wrong, but I'm not going to put him in jail. And that's how she felt. She knew that he did it. And she was like, I'm going to kick you out the house because I'm not going to let you do it again. So she called the cops on him because he wouldn't leave. And he was selling that stuff. So he ended up going to jail for like 12 years. Yeah. So because he ended up going to jail, she got mad at the grandchild and would treat that child like crap. It was like, you're the reason my son is in jail. My other child is alive. You just crosses in the life. So she just had a horrible upbringing. She was in the hood. She was really smart. Her best friend was this boy that had a crush on her across the street, but she didn't like to be touched, which I understand. But they had a special relationship because they just understood one another. Eventually, they ended up getting together in high school, and it's so funny because everybody's like, "It's about time." Like, why it took so long? And he pull a little thing. He wants to protect her. He doesn't know what happened. He just knew that she was standoffish towards people. That was the only person she really felt comfortable with. And when he finally figures it out, he sneaks in the room one night to try to shoot the uncle because the uncle got out of jail, and he would try to sneak in her room at night. You just got out of jail and you still trying to sneak in the 16-year-old girl's room at night. Anyway, so he had a gun. He missed the shot. The uncle beats him up because he fresh out. I don't know why you thought he was going to win that fight. Respectfully, I like what? Beats him up, and so they drop him off because he literally lives across the street from her. He drops him off. The grandmother and the uncle drops him off, and was like, "Look, he brought your gun over here trying to shoot somebody, so we're gonna keep the gun, and we're not gonna call the cops. You need to get him to a hospital." So the teacher that when she was growing up, the teacher that she had at the school was like, she always knew something was off. She knew something was happening in the house. She just couldn't pinpoint it. And then finally she started skipping school because she was like, F it, my boyfriend's in the hospital. Like, he broke his jaw. That's how bad he was beat up. Yeah.
Good job.
Huh?
The uncle?
Yeah, the uncle beat up the boy, the boyfriend.
Aww.
Yeah, broke his jaw and everything. It was bad. Like, he got his behind whooped. And so the teacher was like, why is she skipping school? What's going on? So she did her own wellness check, came to the door, and the grandmother's like, well, she's not in because she's not feeling good. She said, no, that's not good enough. She goes in the room and say, what you doing? She sees the gunshot because there's the bullet hole in the room. She sees the blood on the floor because they never cleaned up the room. The girl is in a catatonic state the whole time. It's been like 2 weeks. And she just locks her door. She doesn't go out because she doesn't trust her uncle to not go in the room. Like, she's not even eating. She got a bag of crackers in the room, and that's what she's been eating for 2 weeks. Like, yeah. And she feels so much guilt because she's like, my boyfriend was trying to protect me, and now he's in the hospital. The teacher comes and is like, hell no. Pack your bags. We're leaving. And the grandma's like, you can't take her out of here. I said, try me. Let's call the cops then, since I can't take her out of here. Because I know this blood ain't hers. I know this bullet hole shouldn't be here. So let's call the cops and see what they say. So the grandmother's like, fine, take her. I don't want her here anyway. So she ends up leaving. and going with the teacher's mom. The teacher's mom is actually a retired therapist.
Hmm.
So she helps her through a lot of her trauma. I'm making it light, and I don't want to say light, but she has a lot of stuff that happens. I'm touching on like the tip of the iceberg. Um, so she works through that. She goes to college, and they meet up years later, and it goes from there. What I loved about this book is that even though they were in the hood, they were not hood people. Do you understand what I'm
But
saying?
adjacent.
Yes, they wanted better for themselves. They were both well to do in school. The conversations they would have, they were like, yo, when I get out of here, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna build this, I want to have this. Like they planned out their lives, and they didn't meet up till years later when they're both functioning adults. She's in therapy, or she's a therapist, I should say, sorry, and he is a basketball star. That was his dream, and they just go from there. And I love that. I love that we didn't have to worry about him having no baby mamas. She ain't been touched. I love that it was a fluffy, happy ending. It did well for me. Because after all that foolishness she went with, my God, that was the end of January. That was rough. And then February, my first book I read was Amari and the Night Brothers. Super cute, middle school grade. You know what I'm saying? That she's like 12. She is a magician, and I gave that book 4.25 stars. It is fantasy. What did I write? I enjoyed the book. Basically, is what I wrote. She's a magician. She gets sent into this program because her brother goes missing, and he voted for her to come into the magical school. And so she basically is set on course to find her brother and figure out what happened, because nobody is trying to find him, and her brother is like her best friend.
Okay.
They're like 7, 8 years apart, so he's super older than her, and it goes from there. And I loved it. I thought it was really good. It was super cute. I can't really complain. The next book I read was the final book in the Red Rising trilogy, which was Morningstar by Pierce Brown. And honestly, I didn't even give that book 5 stars. The first two books were 5 stars. To me personally, the best book in that series was the middle book, which was Golden Sun. Um, it just basically follows Darrow's, journey and how the story ends. To me, it felt kind of rushed, which is why I gave it 4.25 stars. It felt like he didn't know how to end it. A lot of the things I feel like were just very convenient to happen so that he could win the war. So yeah. The next book I read was Will You Join Me? We'll talk about it because Liz did this to me. That video will come out soon. And I couldn't even rate it.
I couldn't rate it either.
I'm not even going.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
The next book I read was North King's Unexpected Inevitability by A.E. Valdez. It's the third King. It's the third book in the King trilogy. And I gave it 4 stars, 754 pages. Now y'all know I love me some A.E. Valdez. I felt like that book could have been 250 pages shorter. There was a lot of things in there I just felt like we did not need. But overall, I liked his story the best. And then the last book I read was Blood Debts by Terry J. Benton Walker, which excuse me, which Liz and I have a book review coming out for that, so you'll hear about it. I gave it 3.25 stars. Okay, that's it for me. What about you, Liz?
Okay. So, starting off the month strong. No, I'm just joking. So, I started this book in January and finished it at the beginning of February, and it's Paladin Strength by T. Kingfisher. If you guys have watched our previous videos, you know that I'm on a T. Kingfisher kick. I read Nettle and Bone and fell in love with her writing. I gave this one 4.25. It is a fantasy book. It is on Audible Plus. Now, just so you know, when I say a book is on Audible Plus, it does change from month to month. Some books. Some
Okay.
books are only available on Audible Plus for a certain amount of time, and then they're not. Oh, sorry guys. Uh it's part 2 in the Paladin series for this series, obviously. I really enjoyed it. It followed the head guy in their little cadre. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot his name. Steven? Whatever. And they're still looking for the clay head. I'm not going to go into detail because it's just the second book and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. But I love T. Kingfisher's writing. I love it. So I did give it 4.25. It is still available on Audible Plus, guys. My next book is book 3 in the Ruinous Love series,
Mm-hmm.
Siphon Sparrow by
You
Bryn
finished it?
Weaver. Huh?
You finished it?
Yeah, girl, yeah. I did the Audible, of course, because those Irish accents just get me. Meh. Anyway, I rated this 4.5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
This follows the last brother, Fionn, and Rose,
Mm-hmm.
who it works at a circus.
And she crazy.
And people call her the Sparrow. Basically, if you're a woman in a relationship that's not great for you, she kind of helps you out of it. Not that it leads to murder, because she has a very soft stomach. Like the first
Yeah.
kill in the book, it was the first time that she saw the blood and stuff. She ended up throwing up. So this is not.
Yeah.
Anyways, during one of the times that she's doing the circus that she works for, she's been there since she was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a little tarot reading tent.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the women go in there and she's trying to get a reading. Her husband comes, you can tell he's a dick. She's like, I'm going to help him out. Well, when she goes to the lady's house, I think that night or the next night,
Mm-hmm.
she goes to hurt the guy or whatever. He ends up hurting her, breaking her leg and all of that stuff. She is able to escape,
Mm-hmm.
finds her way to a vet clinic, and she's like, oh, I can fix myself up in there.
Yeah.
Theon is there. He thinks that this raccoon that keeps trying to come into that, not keeps trying, the
Mm-hmm.
raccoon gets in and gets into his medicine cabinet. Her name is Barbara. So he thinks it's Barbara, and he
Mm-hmm.
finds Rose. Then he helps her while they're at the hospital. The head guy of the circus goes to visit, and he's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we got to move on. But don't worry, I parked your trailer here. And he tells Fionn in secret to take care of her. Of course, there's lots of fun
Yeah.
stuff going on throughout the book. I won't go into further detail. 4.5 stars. This was an Audible book for me. Recommend always.
This
She
seems a little bit
did
more tame.
she did do a second epilogue, like there was a bonus epilogue,
Mm-hmm.
and in that epilogue there's a new character introduced, which she's already confirmed will lead to other stories. It just won't,
Mm.
So I'm
Okay.
excited. Bryn Weaver. My next book,
Mm. You did it.
Onyx Storm. Mhm. It took me from January 21st to February 15th to finish this book. Why? One thing, I could not remember any of the characters besides the main
And
ones
there's
that
such an influx of characters.
I think it's just because the riot was introduced in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the last book.
Mm-hmm.
Was it in the middle of the last? Whatever. And then
In the second half, so yeah.
yeah, so all these people, and then we had to wait 18 months for the book, or I did. And it was just a lot for me to remember. Again, I'm one of those people that I could read a book, and as soon as I finish, the next day, I will only remember some of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I gave this book 3.75 stars.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if you're here, you probably already know what Onyx Storm is, and that's where. In my little quick opinion of this book, it gives you where you can check. I put it was just okay.
Yeah. It was a
But
third book in the 5-book series.
see, and I never knew that theory until this book, and I have to agree with it wholeheartedly. The theory is true, y'all.
Yeah.
My next book, Will You Join Me? I don't know what to rate it. It's available on Kindle Unlimited, y'all.
It's a short story. It's
It's
21 pages.
literally 26 pages, I think. Just read it and let us know. Take 30 minutes of your time, if that. Read it. Talk to us about it. Let us know what you think. Maybe you can help us rate our books, rate
Right.
this book, because neither one of us knew how. It's by Precious Gibson. I didn't even. Anyways, we're going to have a review. We'll talk about it. Next book. It is Let Them by Mel Robbins. It's a nonfiction. It is a self-help book. I listened to it on Audible because she did narrate it, and I love her.
Oh, did she?
Yeah,
That's cool.
5 stars.
Mm.
5 mother flipping stars. This book, um, so if you struggle with what people care about, if you struggle with well, you know what? If you struggle with life, because really, I think this book could be applied to any aspect of life. Basically, you cannot control other people. You cannot control how they react. You cannot
Mhm.
control their emotions. You cannot. So you just have to let them. But it's not just about letting them. You have to also let you. Like you have the power to let you walk away from something, let
Mhm.
you change the outcome of something, let you look at something differently, so on and so forth. You have all the power. So this book really, really, really touched me. Um, and I used one of my credits for it on Audible. 5 stars. Okay. Next book, Blood Debts. We have a review coming out. I rated it 4 stars. I think it was supposed to be 3.75, but I got a little happy filling in my star. So 3.75. Sorry about
Please
that.
let that baby sing. Let the baby
Yeah.
sing.
Just so y'all know, she already has a manager. It's Colette.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
um, so for Blood Debts, my quick opinion, roller coaster of annoyance and intrigue. Just yeah. Started this book in
Yes.
January of 2024, finished it in February.
Oh, I didn't tell you that when I started. Hold on. Because I had to go get the date. I started this May 14 of 2023, and I finished it February 25th, 2025.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
That book messed up my whole average time to finish a book in
Yeah.
Storygraph. Anyways, and those are the books I finished. I am currently reading The Naturalist Society by
Mhm.
Carrie Vaughn, which is a historical fantasy that is available on Kindle Unlimited. And I am also reading a physical book, Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez, which is a fantasy book. I'm actually really loving that book. So, more to come on that.
I am currently reading a tandem read
I'm so excited! So
for Empire
excited!
of Storms and Tower of Dawn by SJM. Liz don't know how to act.
I'm so excited for you to get to Kingdom of Ash. So excited. I'm
I
so
feel like
excited.
I have the Naturalist Society. That's why I'm looking in my Kindle, but I can't find it.
Girl, I'm like, so there's like a lot of historical description, or I don't know, maybe it's just me. I do like it, sir. Like I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it. I like it enough to finish it. She doesn't know.
Yeah, Cam Bam. You sing that song, girl. Yeah. Naturalist Society. I'm sorry, I had to find it because you said it.
Yeah, no.
Was
I
bothering
mean, I'm liking it. It's not a book for me to just like sit down and devour.
me. Yeah.
It's like one of those leisurely reading books for me. Whereas to Woven in Moonlight,
Mhm.
I want to just sit down and devour it.
Okay.
Mhm, mhm,
I
mhm.
have her book, one of her books, What the River Knows.
That actually has really good reviews.
Yeah.
It has a part two too,
Hmm.
so I might get it. She wishes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I wish too, baby girl.
I just want to point out that I hate that they put these stickers. Like right here, they did it. I've been trying to get that off. Like, why?
Yeah.
In the
To
year
irritate our spirit.
2025, we don't have something that does not leave sticky residue?
Yeah.
Anyways,
I feel you. I'm with you when you're right.
so
So that does conclude our reading wrap up for February, y'all. And again, like I said, I'm reading the tandem reading SJM books. I ain't gonna finish that before the month is out. So
I
we'll
might
talk about
finish
it next
mine.
month.
I might.
Um, but you guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.